mostly rhetorical. It's mostly rhetorical.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Mostly Rhetorical. I'm your host. A dog's barking outside right now, and it's so loud, and it stopped. I'm recently back on caffeine. As someone who is deeply affected by caffeine, I do have to say, drinking decaf for 2 to 3 months and then getting back to caffeine, what a wild ride. It feels like I've never really been good at doing drugs. Like the most I've done is pretty much just smoking weed, and even that I'm very bad at. But drinking caffeine, I guess technically a drug, I'm on the fucking top of the moon, man. I don't even know if that's an expression, but since I've been drinking this, it's right here. Just if you're only listening to the audio, I just have my coffee in a pile of plants sitting next to all my greenery in my house, in my apartment. And normally I would get so like fidgety, pretty much every symptom that happens with over consuming coffee I get, because I don't just consume it. I'm not having like a cup or two. I'll buy like a carton of iced coffee and drink the whole thing in like a decent amount of hours. Over the course of like 5 hours, I'll drink it. But for some reason, before, coffee would affect me pretty much for like 7 days. It felt like I would feel so jittery and so wild for like 7 days. It's like I was binging. I was on a binge with coffee. But now I can just now I don't have any, like I'm not anxious. Normally I would be feeling like I'm exploding internally. I'm good this time. For some reason, I have gotten over the hump of feeling like absolute shit with coffee, and now I feel good, dude. So I'm back with coffee and better than ever. And I'll keep you updated if I start exploding. I was telling someone this story a few days ago, and I don't know if I'd said it on this podcast before. If I haven't, what have I been doing? Because it's like the best one I've got. So I think 2 years ago, maybe even last year, no, 2 years ago, I received a message on Instagram from a woman who reached out and said, "Hey, I think someone has been catfishing me with your picture." And she's like, she explained that she was from Europe and she had been talking to this guy, aka me, for like a month or so. And they had planned to hang out and meet up. And this dude never committed to it. And I guess left her on red or whatever it might be, but just like fucked off basically and didn't do anything about it. Didn't commit to the date, or even like, I guess if he went to the date, she would have known it's fucking not him because it's me. So let me explain. So she sends me the Instagram, his Instagram page. And this guy's name is Eduardo Castellan. Deeply ingrained in my memory now because it's just the other version of me. And it's a picture that I had taken of myself like maybe 5 years ago. I'm just like very clean shaven. I just look like fairly young at that point, mainly just because I'm clean shaven, but this has to do with the point. So this guy took this picture, whoever took this picture of me, and then photoshopped a sick ass beard on me and then widened my chin. And honestly, I've never looked better than that photo. And I really like to think that this guy spent so much fucking time in Photoshop making sure that I was the beefiest, hunkiest looking guy. Because in the original photo, I just look little. I just look little. And at the time, that's what I looked like. Maybe I still do. I don't know. But in this photo that this man worked over, just days in Photoshop or whatever, expanding my chin and making it so, it's like a fucking mountain ridge, that chin. And the beard is so real. Like, I don't know if this guy's fucking outsourcing his his catfishing business, but the beard is spot on, dude. I've never seen a beard look so good in my entire life. This guy knew what he was doing from the jump. He like was sorting through thousands and thousands of pictures, just like, who's the right candidate for this beard? And then he saw me, clean shaven, nothing on me, a blank canvas, if you will. And he did it. So she reached out, pointed this out to me. I was like, what the fuck is happening? This is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me or been brought to my attention. And we go and I report the page and it gets taken down and find out that there's like 3 or 4 other pages with different pictures of me, not edited though. Like they're just other pictures of me, but with like different names. So I think I'm just running around Europe, causing havoc, setting up dates with women and then bailing. The ultimate guy who just sets up a ton of dates and then can't follow through with them. Like, I kind of just wish he showed up. And they're like, but you don't look anything like this guy. And he's like, yeah, no, I know. And just committed to it. Committed to knowing that he's not me. I mean, maybe I should do one of him, you know? Eduardo, if you're out there, I don't know. That's definitely not your name. And I'm just kind of shooting from the hip. But if you're watching this, please send me a photo of you so I can I'm not going to catfish with you. I don't know what you look like. Regardless, not going to do it, but let me Photoshop you. If you have a beard, maybe I'll take one off of you. You know, I think it's a give and take at this point. Since you've taken mine, you might as well give one of your photos. I would really appreciate it. It's got to be like one of the weirdest things I've seen. I've been trying to get better with video editing and using Photoshop and stuff. And I've been on YouTube for a lot of tutorials recently. And I think, so I've gotten rid of most social media. Like I find that I'll make TikToks for like 2 or 3 weeks straight. And then I'll just get really fucking tired of it. Like I just won't want to be on the internet anymore. I just feel like I need a break from me being in the open. I think taking breaks in between videos or like just what I'm doing where I'll just take it off of my phone for like a month or 2 and then come back to it. And it feels a little bit fresher. Like it doesn't feel like I'm getting consumed by TikTok because holy fuck, TikTok is insanely addictive. I know this is very known information, but as someone, I took a year off using almost all social media last year and used it very rarely, like probably once a month, once every 3 months, maybe, just didn't look at anything. And I came back to TikTok early this year, maybe in January, and I made a TikTok about Zoomies, the skateboarding goods store. And it blew up and it got like 1 million views, and I've never had that happen before. And the video's not even good. It's just me explaining the scenario that I had at Zoomies. And people were like, great job, you've done it. This is viral content, which was just me explaining the story. So the bar is low. Bar is very low for TikTok, but I think we all knew that. And just from the amount of notifications that I was getting, I was addicted to that immediately. I get it. I get the high of getting likes. Instagram, I don't really use it that much. And whenever I do post something, it's very rarely, and it'll get whatever amount of likes. It's great. It's mainly for friends supporting, and I appreciate it. But this is like random fucking people. And just like, so with 1 million views, like, I mean, people are getting like 30 million views. So I can't even imagine what that's like. But it's just an insane amount of stuff happening on your phone, notifications. I have them turned off, but I had to keep checking because it was like the number just kept going up. So from that, I was just hooked. Like I just started using TikTok again, and holy fuck, man. Like I would just be sitting there for so long, just looking at shit. And I think I'm just explaining what everyone else already knows about social media. But man, I felt myself feel fairly hopeless or helpless to TikTok. It was fucking crazy, dude. So I got rid of it again. But this to say, I got rid of TikTok, mostly all my social media, and just use YouTube mostly. And YouTube's algorithm, dude, is so annoying. It's got to be one of the most annoying things. Like I was saying, I was using YouTube for tutorials for Photoshop, video, whatever. I use it for a lot of what I do, like mixing, production, and music. But I think I have to quit YouTube, dude. I think I have to cold turkey the tube. Cold turkeying the tube might be the only reasonable thing. This is like the politician thing. If you're listening on audio, I'm just doing the political hand gesture where they're like accentuating a point by holding an almost fist, like you're holding a flag, and going on every single impactful word. Yeah, quitting the tube cold turkey might be the only thing. I looked up the self-help side of YouTube. I'm very into self-help, going to therapy, because I do find myself I'll be in my head is crazy. My head, I'm just thinking about everything all the time. So it definitely gets overwhelming in there. And listening to some videos is very helpful. But when you look up one like positive, I don't know, self-help thing, you just get 1,000 of them, dude. And then they start contradicting each other. Some are like, it's okay to be... One was like Delulu, which I guess is delusional, which I fucking hate the fucking short form of that. The unofficial short form of delusional. And just for example, like the thumbnail was like, it's good to be delusional, like do your thing. And then you scroll down one and it's like how being Delulu or delusional ruined my life. And it's like, God damn it, man. But there's so much of that. Like there's so much. I wish it was just like, if it asked you, it was like, do you like being delusional, or do you think that's hurting your situation? If you just picked one of them, it would just show you one side of the topic that you're on, instead of showing you every single fucking side of everything. Like I looked up what UX design was because I was interested in what that is, and it's user experience design. So you're basically creating the design of apps. Like you're making it straightforward for users to use. And I wanted to know more about this career, or just what happens in it, because I've been hearing about it so much. Looked it up fucking once, and the amount of videos that were like, worst career of all time, 6 ways to improve your UX design, never get this job, this is the best job of all time. It's just like, YouTube is becoming so overwhelming that I might need to find some self-help on YouTube for YouTube being overwhelming, and then just get 40,000 recommendations of why YouTube is ruining my life, but also how YouTube is improving my quality of life by 10,000. I don't know, man. I think it's just I think it's too much for me to use any social media. I think if anything, I should have a binge of social media once a month. Like I'll just take a day off of work and just sit on social media, catch up on fucking everything, and then never watch it again for the next month. Or I'll hire someone to fill me in on everything that's been happening. I guess that's just like a social media manager. Wow, that's already a job. Dude, I gotta get out of here, man. I gotta get out of the internet. It's ruining my life. And at the same time, I'm getting so many dates in Europe that I'm not attending. I was in, speaking of Europe, I took my first trip to Europe and went to Italy for 10 days with basically just a pack of Australian women. Like the whole trip was, I think it was like 50 people on the trip. And there was myself, 2 other Canadians, like maybe 3 or 4 Americans, and then like 35 Australian women. It was crazy. The amount of nar was unbelievable. There was so many of them, dude. And like within the first 4 days of the trip, I just got like so sick. So sick. So as much as YouTube is telling me not to be Delulu or to be Delulu, I was on so much medication, so much cold medication the whole time that I was just Delulu floating around Italy. I was just delusionally floating around Italy. All these women are pointing at me because I look like Eduardo Castellan from from the Catfish photo. They're like, doesn't he look like, but he doesn't have the beard? Were we talking last month and then you bailed and then we never talked again and then I messaged the real anyway. Yeah, it was so fun, dude. Like the amount of the word, I don't even know how to explain this, but we were all having dinner on this like the most picturesque cliffside vista thing with this super gross, overly sexual Italian man showing us how to make risotto. You know when like old guys can't read the fucking room, or maybe they don't care. I don't know. There is also a gigantic language barrier between the two of us. We all speak English, and then there's like Australian people that they're speaking like people from Italy already don't know what we're saying if they don't know how to speak English. So they're just like, I don't know. It's the same thing with me with Italian. Like I just don't know what people are saying. So vice versa, I'm sure it's the same. But if there was like an Australian version of Italian, we'd be like, I don't know what the fuck. I don't. As much as I didn't know what you were saying before in Italian, now I don't know even more. But this guy was being so... Yeah, I think there's just old guys that just can't read the fucking room. And they're just like touching and it's like all weird with like all these women that were around. Oh my God, it was so fucking weird. Anyway, this guy's showing us how to make risotto and it's like the most romantic situation I've ever been in with 50 other people. Like we were all just like looking around at each other like, I can't believe it. We were all just falling in love with all 50 of us all at the same time, even the old man. Kind of. He wasn't the best, but and we're having these appetizers and everything, and this like looming figure is going around around the ceiling, and we're all just kind of like looking at what the fuck is happening because the windows are all open, like it's just like an open concept little room, and it's a fucking bee, like the size of I don't even know. It's like the size of like half of a remote control for like your TV. It was half of that. It was so fucking huge. It scared me more than anything in my entire life. Like and it started like diving or like hitting stuff and like hitting, you know how fucking insects do that? They just don't know what's going on. And they just like hit the ceiling and hit the fucking ground and they're all confused of what's happening. But this was just like a brick hitting the ceiling and coming down and just started like hitting the table. Hitting the table and just like, dude, it was the grossest thing I've ever seen. You know how you fake to go to the bathroom to get out of a situation in hopes by the time you come back from the bathroom that the situation might be over? That was me. With the bee, I got out of it, I think. I don't really know. But it was so disgusting. And then sitting on a bus for 10 days was kind of cool. Like the longest we spent on the bus was like 6 hours. So it was a good amount of time, but every day was like an hour or so. You would just kind of bomb around. And the age gap was so funny, dude, because the oldest person there was like 34, I think. And then the youngest people there was a guy that was 18, I believe. So it was a pretty large age gap. Everyone was kind of in between, though. There were like 25 to 30. And everyone was just... It was so funny to be around that many people because you could just feel how exciting it was to just, first of all, be traveling, but at the same time, just be around that much energy of different ages and different people from different places, even though everyone was from Australia, regardless. I feel like I got along so well with Australian people because I swear so much and they swear so much too. And I really think I fit in with them and vice versa. I think Canadians and Australians were just one and the same because of all the swearing that's happening. But it was such a good time, man. It was such a fun experience. Even though I was just losing my mind on cold medication the whole time. Barely remember it, but what a time it was. Got to see George Clooney's Vista, which immediately, as soon as I got home, I had to watch Oceans 11 through 13, the best oceans other than the Atlantic. And yeah, dude, it was such a good time. I'm going to leave this one here. Please rate this podcast, subscribe, follow me on Instagram under Joey Mossman, TikTok, Joey Mossman. I also just released a new album under my rock project called Brag. The album is called Does Everything Take This Long? It's out now. You can stream it anywhere on the internet. So thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.